Welcome to episode number 22 of No Whining. It is the 4th of July and America's 249th birthday. America! All right, let's celebrate America by drinking some wine. Here we go. The first wine up today is Segura, Viudas, Reserva, Heredad. This is a fantastic bottle, by the way. This thing is heavy, man. This thing is could be used as a weapon. Absolutely impressive. The packaging here is actually quite ostentatious and ridiculous. However, I kind of like it. This is a $25 to $30 bottle of Cava. Cava is Spain's sparkling wine. It is made in the traditional method, just like it would be in France and champagne, but it is made with a little bit different mix of grapes typically. It is made with Xarel, Macabeo, and Parellada. Now, this particular one is actually 75% Macabeo and 25% Chardonnay. The region is Penedès in Spain, and here's some information from the tech sheet. The must for Reserva Heredad comes from the lightest pressing of grapes. We only use the first 50% of the juice pressed. The first fermentation takes place in stainless steel tanks at a controlled low temperature to retain the primary aromas of the grapes. Macabeo is the dominant grape in Reserva Heredad, contributing acidity and freshness. It also allows the wine to age well during the 24 months or more that it will be in contact with the lees. Before disgorgement, we give each bottle a last sharp shake or twist of the wrist known as poignetage, lifting the yeast cells from the side of the bottle and mixing them once more with the wine, thus intensifying the element of autolysis. The riddling or turning of all the bottles is done by hand. The dosage is 9 grams of sugar per liter to optimize its versatility in food pairings. And I just want to remind you that back in episode 15, I walked through the whole traditional method and process of how sparkling wine is made. So as I was going through that, that's assuming some knowledge, and I would really encourage you to go back and review that because it's fascinating. I did a really nice, I thought, overview of the process itself, and it'll help this all make a lot more sense. So I'd encourage you to revisit that. All right, let's get into our first wine of the day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this a medium straw color. I can see the nice little bubbles in there coming out. Let's give it to the schnoz. Medium minus intensity on the nose, like peach, pear, apricot, a little bit of lime in there. All right, let's dip back in. Yeah, certainly getting those brioche and yeast notes, right? Like from the lees aging, a little bit of butters coming through, also some stony minerality. All right, let's try it on the jaws. All right, yes, like the green apple, the stone fruit, brioche, mineral is all coming through. The mousse on the texture here, it's not the finest I've ever felt. Now, again, that's not saying much because I've had very few sparkling wines before, but it doesn't have quite the fine mousse that we experienced a number of episodes ago with that Clément from France. So that is something I would like to note up front. This is a medium minus, I would say, in terms of body. It's still a dry wine. Even though they said that it was like 9 grams of residual sugar, that is still technically considered beneath the threshold and would qualify it as a dry wine. That is definitely not really even approaching a wine that would be sweet. So again, medium minus body, dry wine, medium plus in acidity. Alcohol is medium, I would say, probably around 12% or so. This medium plus intensity on the palate, medium complexity, I would say. It is a balanced wine. It's got a medium plus finish of like toast and butter. So it's a nice wine. It's not great, but it is pleasant. It's very drinkable. It would be a wonderful thing to have as an apéritif or with, seafood or some hors d'oeuvres, that type of thing. So that is wine number 1. Let's move into our second. This is, ladies and gentlemen, a 2020 José Zuccardi Malbec It is 95% Malbec. It is 5% Cabernet Sauvignon. It's around $45, coming out of the region of Valle de Uco, or the Uco Valley, within the Mendoza region of Argentina. Some information from the tech sheet. It says 2 vineyard sites. The majority of the grapes came from a vineyard at 3,600 feet above sea level. This place has a cool, temperate climate with great thermal amplitude. Its soils stand out for the presence of a large conglomerate of stones and granite gravel colored with calcareous material. Calcareous material? Calcareous. I think they're trying to say calcium, or calcium in the soil. Anyway, where huge rocks can be found weighing up to 20 tons. The wine is fermented in concrete tanks without epoxy and aged in large oak barrels. The rest of the grapes came from a site with 4,400 feet of elevation with a temperate and arid climate, a true high-altitude desert. Its rugged terrain among the Jaboncillo Hills enclose very diverse soils with abundant calcareous material formed by distinct layers of sand, caliche, and stones. Fermentation with native yeast in concrete tanks without epoxy and aged in large oak barrels for 24 months. Now, once again, I would encourage you to pay very close attention to this Malbec and notice how it differs from the Malbec in the last episode that we tasted from Cava in France, all right? So pay really close attention. Let's dip into wine number 2. All right, as with the last Malbec, this is a deep purple color. It has, I would say, a moderate plus level of viscosity and some staining with the tears. All right, let's try it on the schnoz. Black fruit, black cherry, there's like baked plum in here, blackberry. All right, let's see what else we can find. All right, vanilla, some licorice in there, a little bit of smoke, right? So some of the things coming out of the oak aging, presumably. Let's go back in one more time. All right, went back in one more time. And this is going to rhyme because I have found notes on the schnoz of rose and thyme. All right, let's try it on the jaws. Here we go. All right, black fruit is still there, right? A little bit jammy on the black fruit, some oak influence here. Tannins are really nice, like they're medium plus, but they're a nice mixture of like, some of them are just have a little bit of grip to them, and the rest of them are really plush. So it's actually a really nice mixture there. It's a full-bodied wine. It's dry. The acidity, I would say, is like medium, high in alcohol. It's got to be, 14.5%. It's got a really bold body, fruit flavors. I would say that in terms of complexity, it's moderate. The flavor intensity, though, is pretty pronounced. Then it moves into this medium plus finish with, it's earthy, like tobacco. So this is a nice wine. So let's bring these both in and pick a winner for the day on this 4th of July day that we celebrated America by having a Spanish and an Argentinian Malbec, and we didn't even make fun of France, which is always fair game. However, I'm gonna say once again that like this Malbec does not impress me as much as the French one from last week. I like that quite a bit more. It was a $20 bottle of wine with greater complexity. Sorry, Argentina, greater complexity than this. It was just a far superior wine. This is really nice. Don't get me wrong. Like this is super drinkable, but I don't like it as much as the one last week. I do like it better than the Cava, however. This Cava, I just felt it was a little bit wanting. And again, not a super expensive bottle of wine, but from Spain you can get really, really phenomenal wines typically for great prices. And so this was around $25 to $30. I was hoping for, and I think expecting a little bit more than what it delivered, but both are very nice wines. The Malbec is superior, however. All right, I hope you enjoyed both of these at home, and I will see you in episode 23.